Hi, my name's Rob from Specialist Termite Control in Melbourne, and we're just doing a quick video on flying termites. And we're doing that now because this time of year termites start swarming, and sometimes they swarm outside around people's home. Sometimes they swarm out of people's home, inside their home, and that can be really intimidating sometimes. So we're just going to put a bit of information out there for people so that they know what's going on. So the first thing we'll cover is whether or not you're seeing flying termites. So this time of year there's lots of different things flying around, and so that may not necessarily be termites. The second thing we'll sort of discuss quickly is why are termites flying. So it's important you understand the process there because that affects how it's managed. And then what you should do, particularly in the short term. So we'll go over those things. It won't take long, and then hopefully that'll help. So firstly, this is a flying termite. Note that basically it has 4 even-shaped wings, and this photo doesn't quite show it all that well. But termites are of the insect order Isoptera. Isoptera means even-shaped wings, and it's unique, so it's a good identifying factor for sort of determining whether or not it's actually a flying termite that you're seeing. And then the other thing that they have is basically the head and the abdomen. Unlike other insects, say like Hymenoptera, bees, ants, wasps, they have 3 parts to their body: the head, the thorax, and the abdomen, whereas termites have the head and then the abdomen. So those are the identifying features. As I said, they can fly inside or outside, and this is sort of a video of termites flying inside, outside out of someone's garden fence post. And that's sort of what they look like when they're doing that. But they also fly out of people's homes. You know, they don't realise they're in a house, of course. They just think it's out of standing dead in the bush. And this is sort of what it looks like when they're flying out of home. So the photo there on the right is a door jamb, and you'll note that termites always fly out, and they create these flight cuts that go with the grain. And then once they've flown out, the workers, the ones actually doing the damage, they seal up that flight cut again. And the one on the left again is a flight cuts around an exposed beam, and note that they're sort of cutting out of the timber along the grain of that. And this is sort of what it looks like inside someone's home. So it can be, we can get these big flights, and you can see that there are literally thousands and thousands of individuals, in a sense, stuck or caught inside the house. Yeah, it's a big deal. So that's sort of what it looks like when it's flying in someone's home. And the aftermath looks a bit like this. So you can see sort of those 2 photos there. Termites, they're trying to get outside. They want to, they'll be attracted to the light or something like that. And so often, if you have been away from home or something like that, or the next morning after you've had a flight, you'll see them all clustered either in the corner of the house, trying to sort of get down to the ground where there might be some moisture, or by the windows and that kind of stuff where they've tried to escape. But they all perish. So why are you seeing termites? Well, you're seeing the reproductive process. So in here you can see on the bottom left there, or the left hand side there, the king and the queen, the mating pair. They will be in the colony, and that colony won't be in your home, all right? And they are producing little baby termites that become nymphs, and then those nymphs will become one of 3 things: either a worker, which represents the majority of the colony, just like workers in a beehive, and then a soldier caste that protects those workers when they're off harvesting energy, cellulose, timber, and then the reproductive that build up through the course of a year so that they can swarm when the environment is right, to try to meet other alates, other reproductive termites, and create new colonies and get that genetic spread. So that's the process that you're seeing. And this is probably a good little example of the bigger picture. So people sort of see the termites swarming out of their house, but actually there's a lot more going on because termites are subterranean. They all come from the ground. So if the termites are flying out of the house, be aware that there is a connection to the ground, and from that connection to the ground there is a connection to a colony somewhere, typically 15 to 10 meters. Outside, if they're swarming outside, they can be swarming directly from their colony, but when it's in someone's home, it tends to be outside of that. And they're using the house, often going somewhere high, as a launching pad. So they're poor flyers, and so they're sort of like hang gliders, so they need to blow with the wind. Again, they want to get that genetic spread. So often there's a bit more going on than meets the eye. It's important to note that the colony will not be in your home. A lot of people sort of think that the termites are invading the house, or that the colony is there where they're seeing the termites, but that's not the case. The colony is typically outside of the building. The termites that fly in your home will quickly die, all right? So you don't need to try to kill every sort of termite that you see with fly spray or vacuum every single one up. They won't spread, so they're not going to move into other parts of your house and start colonies there. Termites need a very particular environment in order to establish a colony, and that really takes about 5 years before we consider them a commercial risk. So that's not going to happen in your home, so you don't have to worry about that at all. And then what should you do? I think most importantly, don't panic. A lot of people, when it's happening, it's obviously it's a fairly intimidating process sometimes. Depending on the scale of a flight, you might have small flights, you might have very big flights. They might be outside, they might be inside, but don't panic about it. The reality is that termite damage, particularly in Victoria, is a slow process, and significant damage takes years and years. Yes, it will seem intimidating and fast because you're seeing that reproductive process, and that is quite quick. But really, there's a lot more going on that takes a long time. So, and I can honestly say that things are typically not as bad as they seem. So don't panic. Don't spray with fly spray. Termite management is going to need to be applied to your home. And if you have an active infestation, those active sites can be used in that management or to test the success of that management. Spraying with fly spray might make you feel good, but you're going to limit those factors, or just push them into areas that we can't see. So if you have sprayed them already, I reckon about 60% of our clients do. Don't sweat it, what's done is done, but if you can avoid it, don't do it. If you want to get rid of the termites, open a window, put a light on outside and seal up that particular room if you can, or better yet, get a supermarket bag, get some tape and tape up nice and airtight all the way around those flight cuts if they're isolated, so that when the termites fly, they're going to fly straight into that bag and get trapped there. When the flight season is over, we can remove that bag and you can just chuck it in the bin. And when I say flight season, it's always a little bit different, but having a couple of flights is not unusual. All right, so typically someone will have a major flight and maybe a couple of minor flights. Get the advice of a professional. This is not a Bunnings job. It's not a DIY job. Termite management is complicated, and when we see real issues, it's when people have reoccurring, ongoing troubles. People sort of find out they've got termites, they panic, they'll either try and do something themselves or get the first person they can out there and just blast it with whatever they've got. That can often cause long-term issues. As I said, it is a slow process. You have time to make an informed decision and get some appropriate advice and go from there. So pump the brakes, understand what's going on, get proper advice, and then engage that management professionally. I hope that helps. We are available to, if you're in Melbourne, by all means give us a call if you're seeing this. Our details are down there. If you're outside of the Melbourne metropolitan area or somewhere else, give us an email or even call us. We're happy to provide you advice. And yeah, I hope that helps, and good luck out there. Cheers.